Hello, hello, ladies. How are
Hi,
you?
Petra.
Hi.
We're back.
That's great. Love it. So wonderful. Let us wait for some minutes. We are three. Maybe some more people show up. It's interesting that quite a lot of people watch just the recording. That's interesting because I put it up on the YouTube and people get busy. I know during this evening hours. So then I brought the books today.
Yeah.
I got ready for you. Here we go. This is the German one.
Ah.
It's this thick.
Oh.
Okay. Now I'll show you the English one. This one is this thick. It's by Priscilla Troop. And now we make a comparison so you get the whole picture. Okay. I don't know why there is a difference in the thickness. I know that certain, for example, plants, when I was checking it, cross-checking it with the English translation, in the English translation, there was less information as compared to the German one. So, but I think it depends on the material she had available, maybe, because what happened, the original books after Hildegard died were sent to the Pope and they got lost. And they had transcripts of those books. So later on, no one can really tell if that transcript is the original or, it's just lost in the history someplace. But recently they found something in, I think in Copenhagen, up in Denmark, in the library, they found some old parts of Physica too. So then they put it together. Okay, so we can maybe start. It's 7:31. Maybe we'll just take 2 more minutes. But it's a nice book. And this one, can you see the illustration?
Yes.
She really has beautiful illustration, like the old ones. They are all in gold and blue. At the time, you have to understand that the gold was very expensive and also the blue color. Like having a blue ink at that time in medieval time was like the super color. It was very expensive to get it, and also red. She uses quite a lot of red in her pictures. Also, it's from I don't know, it's maybe from Physica, from the original one. But the illustrations are really, really beautiful. That's what I really love. What I miss in the English version, there's no illustration at all, even on the cover. She made it pretty plain, even though Hildegard is quite quite elaborate in this case. Have you got a chance to listen to the music? Have you
I
tried?
haven't.
Okay, you should. there was a guy, he was saying like once in a while he just clicked the music, the Canticles of Ecstasy, and he had this cat. And every time he was playing this music, the cat came very close to the speaker, just laid down and was there the whole time. And when it ended, it just lifted itself up and went away. So it's a different music, but it's very nice. Once in a while, it's very nice. It's just very spiritual. You have to kind of get used to it and be okay with it, That's the most important. Okay, we'll start the presentation. I will just set up the settings here and we can go. So, how was yesterday? Was it difficult for you or was it okay?
It was fine.
Was it digestible? Any
Yeah,
questions?
absolutely.
Okay. So we'll today continue on our journey about learning the healing foods of Hildegard, and we'll go to the part 3. So we'll review yesterday. So we talked about a little bit of salt and its importance, how to salt correctly in Hildegard cuisine. So the taste of the salt cannot stand out. It has to be incorporated in the food, and that's correct. And the food should be the dominant taste when we are eating. We talked about the leek. Leek is one of the vegetables that we do not use because it doesn't have a good healing powers. If a healthy person wants to eat the leek, he can, but he has to basically marinate it in vinegar. And I think it was wine vinegar and I think salt. I don't remember anymore, sorry. We talked about the lemon. That was very interesting. I also posted today a post about the lemons. People do get sick during these times, and at least that lemon really works well against fevers. So if you feel uneasy, you don't know what's going on, you can use the lemon juice, you can use the lemons just to kind of put yourself back and help your immunity to kick in and get you out of the problem. We talked about the cucumbers, they're very cold and not good for elderly people. You can kind of, I would say, improve its qualities by vinegar, salt, and water a little bit. Just cook a little nice, I would say, you call it dressing correctly, and use for a cucumber salad if you want. And we talked about a squash. A squash is very nice for eating in any form. You can bake the squash, you can make any type of things with squash. And also we still are gonna remember the inner juices in man, those 4 types, to good, to bad, and we need to keep equilibrium. So we went over the Physica book, that's very nice, and we'll continue. And today we will talk about the pork. It's an interesting story. I will deep dive into the text. The pig is warm and has a burning nature about it, and it's slimy because no cold cleans it. It's also a bit pussy. The pig is always eager to eat, and therefore it does not care what it eats, and it also eats impure things, sometimes in its greed. It has wolfish behavior because it tears other animals apart, and it has behavior like a dog about it because, like the dog, it likes to live with man, but it's an impure animal. His meat is not healthy, but dangerous and not good for healthy or sick people to eat because it does not reduce mucus or other impairments in humans, but increases them. Its warmth combines with the warmth of the people, arouses in people storms in the nature and actions that are bad. Really horrible description, I would say, but we'll go step by step. So first, she describes the energetics as every time. The pig is warm and has a burning nature. So we see that the pig's basically meat or its whole body, its whole existence it's like a burning nature, and it's slimy, and it's not being cleaned naturally. So we see that the pig is always eager to eat, and it doesn't care what it eats. So whether it eats, clean food, non-clean food, doesn't matter. It has wolfish behavior because it tears other animals apart. You know about the cases when the new small pigs are born, they have to be taken away by the mother because they will get eaten up or they will get killed. That's what is really known. And they have a behavior like a dog. It's true because when I go back to the place where my grandfather was born, we go there once per year. There was our neighbor that had a little pig, and his dog was too old, died, and this pig was really like his dog, going with him to the small local food store, waiting for him to come out and then going with him home. And I always wondered, like, how come the pig is like a dog? And it never crossed my mind until I read this in the Physica book like 20 years later. I was like, wow, it's really true. It really worked, and I really saw that happening in real life. But what about the meat that a pork has? His meat is not healthy, but dangerous and not good for healthy or sick people to eat. So what she's saying, it's no good for us to eat pork meat because it doesn't do any good. It does not reduces mucus. Mucus usually naturally happens in our body to be when we digest something what is not that, I would say, healthy, or other impairments in humans, but increases them. So what the pork does, it will just not help you in your digestive system. It won't support your body. It won't do any good to your body at all. And the worst thing is its warmth combines with the warmth of the people and arouses in the people in storms, in the nature and actions that are bad. So a lot of people might experience after eating continuously pork that they can never have, I would say, a good temper. They can never be calm. They can never be okay, relaxed, like everything is fine. There are these type of people. I must say, in my childhood, when I used to go to school, they used to cook a pork a lot. And I didn't know Hildegard at the time, but it came at one point to the situation when I refused simply to eat meat naturally, and I wanted to be vegetarian. It just was not doing good to my digestive system. For example, I do not buy pork, like I buy it only 1 or 2 times per year because there is a traditional soup during Christmas that is being cooked out of a pork. But otherwise, I don't use it. I don't buy any type of salami or anything else. If my, for example, daughter, she loves this type of salami, I buy it for her, just for her, and she eats it alone. She can handle it because she's young and full of energy, but I cannot handle it. Like I haven't eaten pork in a very long time, only for Christmas. And when I had this piece of the meat, for me, it was sweet. It was interesting, even though the soup was salty and everything else. But the minute I tasted the meat, because I was interested, well, I haven't eaten it for a year, from Christmas to Christmas. So I tasted it. I told my husband, like, listen, this is just, the taste for me is sweet, even though it's a salty soup. So based on, I would say, everybody's experience and everybody's feeling. What is interesting at this point is how, for example, the Muslims perceive pork. And it's interesting that they are also saying that the animal is not pure, that the animal is very dirty, so they refuse to eat it. And the same thing you can basically see also in the Jewish community. Also, the Jewish community is basically saying the same thing, like the pork is not clean animal, so we are not going to eat it. It's just to make you like a parallel across the nations or across the views, how people view it. But they leave it up to, every single person has a choice to eat what he or she wants. Well, Hildegard does not recommend to eat pork, but there's only one case when the pork is really useful, and we're going to talk about it. It's for sick people only, and there is a precise description of the sick people. But a man who is very weak, so that he rots and withers in his body, can, as long as he is weak, eat moderately of young pigs, so that he gains warmth from their heat, but after he has recovered, he should not eat any more of them, because he has again been multiplied in himself diseases. A man who is almost decaying at the head should often eat of boiled pig's liver, and it refreshes and strengthens him. So these are only 2 cases when she recommends for the people to eat pork. As we are saying, the person has to be very weak. So it rots and withers, usually maybe the old people, when they are losing their energy and feel very, very weak, they can strengthen themselves by eating pork, but it has to be from young pigs. And that's the condition in this case. Or, of course, the pig's liver. So it's very interesting how she describes it and for whom the pork is good to eat. So I would say, admire that by Hildegard, that she writes it precisely. Well, let's move to a different topic. We'll talk about the lettuce. Lettuce is a wonderful vegetable to eat, I would say. It's any type of lettuce you can basically put in this category, and we'll go over the text. Garden lettuces, which can be eaten, are very cold, and eaten without proper seasoning, they make the brain of the person empty and fill the stomach with disease by their detrimental juice. Therefore, whoever wants to eat them, first pickle them briefly with dill or vinegar or garlic, so that they are covered by it. And when they are eaten, softened in this way, they strengthen the brain and make a good digestion, because the dryness of dill and the warmth of vinegar together with the warmth of garlic soften their coldness to such an extent that it serves the health of the person. It's an excellent description, and what we should really do, you will just, have the lettuce, wash it very well, and then you can make a dressing out of vinegar, or vinegar and something to it, or vinegar and garlic, or vinegar, dill, and garlic. You might try this. I usually do vinegar, sometimes garlic. Well, it depends if I want to smell or don't smell from the garlic, because the garlic is very strong in its taste. So, or I use only dill. I love lettuce, and you also have to understand one thing in green vegetable, or everything that is green by Hildegard in this, or yeah, there is this special power she called viriditas, and viriditas is the power in the nature that makes the seeds, grow. Everything is green, everything grows. And when you keep, for example, regularly eating lettuce, you will really feel energized. Like I cannot go, to tell you honestly, I cannot go a day without a lettuce. If I don't have something green, I'm sick, you know? And she describes here what happens when you eat the lettuce without any seasoning. And it happened to me during my university studies. I was, at that time, I wasn't vegan, I was vegetarian. And I used to buy me this whole pack of green. I was sitting and studying, and eating just out of the package. Nothing like, nothing seasoned. And I used to have quite a lot of problems with my digestion, as she is writing. I experienced that. But I also experienced really difficulty with my brain to think and process the new things. And I never, kind of made a connection to the lettuce. And 20 years later, when you start reading the books and you read it, I was just brought back to the situation when I was studying, and eating all the lettuce, and my stomach hurt and my head hurt. And I felt like I overworked myself at a university. That's why it was, the case. But it wasn't. Maybe it was basically definitely the lettuce that I was eating all the time. And my mom always was making fun of me, like, you are just like, like an animal, because every time you eat green. I just love it. I just cannot live without it, I must say. Okay, let's move. There's also a wonderful healing remedy that you can use. It's the lettuce. When the gums under your teeth are swelling, if someone suffers from pain or swelling of the gums, he should take lettuce leaves, add about more chervil, green it carefully, and add wine. He should apply this in his mouth and keep it a little in his mouth, and it will expel the wrong juices of the gums. Lettuce contains healthy cold and chervil has healthy heat, and when they are mixed with the heat of wine, as described, they expel the harmful and cold juices of the gums. So here you have the really described in detail the mechanism of what's happening when you apply this, I would say, poultice in your mouth. I tried it. It does work, but you have to do it like a couple of evenings or a couple of days in a row. I chopped the lettuce. I took the chervil. It wasn't fresh because at the time it was winter time. And I added white wine, not red wine, because the red wine will stain your teeth. And I just, made, I would say, some kind of look like a mixture out of it, and applied it to my gums. It was getting slowly better, so my doctor didn't have to pull my teeth, but it takes time, I say. It works. So it's not that like you applied one time like a pill and everything will be all right. It's just you keep doing it in a row. We'll go on a famous beetroot. Beetroot is more warm than cold and lies heavy in the stomach of man, yet can be easily digested. Whoever wants to eat it raw should remove the outer peel completely, which is thick, because its green strength is harmful to man. And when the peel is removed, one may eat the inner. But cooked, it's better than raw. Then it does not make bad juices, because when it's raw, its juice weighs down the weaker inner organs a little, but this juice is diminished when it's cooked, and therefore it does less harm when cooked. So what he's saying basically here, that we can eat beetroot, but some of the people might feel the weight of it in their stomach. So they might feel kind of heaviness in the stomach. Not everybody can, or not everybody has the same digestive tract or digestive, issues. But as we are reading here, it can be easily digested. And when we can eat it raw, as she's writing, but we have to peel it really completely. So just peel it, you can try and eat it. But if someone has some digestive issues, I would recommend to cook it in a soup, or, maybe if someone wants to take the juice out of it and has the digestive issues, I would cook it first, and then I would just put it in the juicer just to improve the digestion a little bit more. So I like beetroot being baked in the oven, and then when I take it out, I usually peel it and then just process it further. We also make a soup out of beetroot at home. It's very nice. Also, but it's not everybody's thing, I would say. Some people don't like the taste because it is very special taste of earthy something. I cannot describe that. So for example, my husband, sometimes he takes beetroot soup, sometimes he does not. It just, sometimes it's on a day like, no, I'm not gonna eat it. He says, okay, just eat something else. Okay, but it's very good for ulcers. If once a bad juice rises in a man in ulcers, he should eat beetroot and the ulcer will be reduced. The beetroot is useful to eat, but has a certain amount of juice that is somewhat detrimental, and this resists the ulcer. So as we see here, it's a very nice description that if the bad juices inside our body will rise, they can create the ulcers in our digestive system. And then she recommends to eat the beetroot because it will be reduced by this beetroot, the ulcers in our digestive system. So this is I would say, a nice description how to maybe help to heal someone, or help someone to heal the ulcers that he might have in digestive system. Okay, we'll move on. What you can do with all the newly acquired info about the healing fruits. I will be preparing a course. Basically, it's going to be a vegan fasting course. We will do 1 day per week, every Friday for 6 weeks. And I would like to start on the 6th of February. So in sometime in about a week from now, or a week, a little bit more. And we will end on the 25th of March. What's going to be inside the course, or what is Hildegard fasting about? That's a better question. Hildegard recommends to fast, but there are 3 types of fasting in Hildegard. There's this fasting only on water and herbs and teas, etc. That is kind of difficult to do. I have done it once in my life, and I don't recommend to do it for everybody because it's a very difficult fast. The second type that can be done kind of easily is when you fast the same old bread and water thing, bread and fennel tea. So you bake yourself enough spelled bread, and the whole week you just eat the spelled bread and drink the fennel tea. It's also a difficult fast. This third type that I would like to do and offer to the public is the type when there will be 3 meals per day: breakfast, lunch with soup, and dinner with soup. And it's going to be, I would say, the easiest Hildegard cuisine that one can make. It's going to be built on a spelt, any type of spelt. So there will be basically each meal will have spelt inside. And also it will be easy to prepare. It will take 20 to 30 minutes to prepare the whole meal for the whole day. So the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner, because the lunch and the dinner will be the same. So you don't have to cook basically 3 times a day. You can cook only once in the morning and in the midday. And I have prepared the shopping list. There will be recipes. And I would like to create a Facebook group where where all the people can exchange and share their experience during the fast, ask questions, have the community to support each other. And the cost for the 6 weeks would be 49 euros. What's kind of okay for this type of course. So this is what I would like to do in the coming future. So if you would be interested, I will be sending after this lesson is over, I'll be sending the link in the email, and you can look it up and you can think it over. In the course, we will talk a little bit about the seasonings, and some of them are very healing. We will be talking about the cinnamon, about the cloves, about the galanga or galgan powder, root powder that is very useful in Hildegard cuisine. We will be talking about many other things. And basically, it will give you a good guidance how to start to use the knowledge that we went over for the past 3 days and apply this knowledge in your life. Because when you start cooking the Hildegard food in your life and you apply it at least once per day, maybe once in 2 days, what at the end it means for you that you will regain and keep your health, that you will stay healthy. So this is what I want to achieve and offer to the public. What do you think, ladies?
I probably won't do it.
Okay,
I appreciate the offer.
you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, if someone is really interested in Hildegard von Bingen, of course, he can read the books. He can apply, also find the herbs to treat the problems and everything else. But for me, it was always, finding a way how to implement her in my own life. And the best implementation that I found is through the food and cooking her cuisine and basically supporting everybody in a family. And I do use her remedies to treat my kids. Like the other day, my daughter came home with a dry cough. There's a very nice remedy to treat it. And so I usually make it and just go with the natural stuff, not with the chemicals. I don't like the chemical stuff that much. I don't like the pills. I don't like the syrups. I rather make my own at home. And of course, the kids get to use, they are used to using basically or eating the Hildegard cuisine. Some of the things I must say that they like, and some of them they don't, because at school they cook differently. So I just don't, make a big fuss about it. I just cook as I cook, and sometimes they eat everything, sometimes not. So it's the kids.
So what we didn't mention to you yesterday, Mary Ellen and I work at the Hildegard House, which is, it used to be a convent, but now, like she explained yesterday, it's kind of like a hospice.
Okay.
But she and I are both master gardeners, and we work in the garden.
Wow.
And we're in the process of converting that garden to a medicinal plant garden.
Yes.
to use it as like educational and educational garden, and we're working with an herbalist.
Okay.
And also I compiled a list based on several articles I read about medicinal plants that Hildegard used a lot. So we're kind of using that as the basis for some of the plants that might go in this garden. So it's just very interesting.
Yeah, here you will find all the plants.
Yeah.
All the plants you can plant basically in the US. Maybe some plants you can plant in a pot and then take them during the winter time inside,
Right.
So
Yeah.
they make it through the winter.
Yeah.
But definitely in Physica you will find a lot of inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even I'll tell you my experience, because I do plant some plants. Some of them died, some of them died during the summer because no one was there to water them. But you always have to try. Even if the herbalists tell you that, the plant is not gonna, thrive in that environment, you just try it out.
Right. Right.
Just plant it and try it out.
Yeah. So she and I are growing galangal this year.
Yeah.
Inside, because it's cold here in the winter. So we both have it indoors.
Yeah, it is a beautiful flower. It's I used to have one plant. I gave it to a friend of mine because he wanted it so badly, but it died. And since then, I haven't planted another one because I have to find a fresh root, and then out of the fresh root plant a new one.
Yeah.
So, and so far I found the frozen ones, but not the fresh ones.
Wow. Interesting.
So I'll just give it a try one more time and to see. Okay.
Marianne, I don't know. Marianne, you're
She wants
muted.
to talk, but she's muted. She has to unmute herself.
She unmuted.
Am I muted now?
You're unmuted.
Oh, no, but I wanted to tell you the herbalist that we've partnered with,
Yes.
she already has a huge medicinal garden. So she's had experience growing many of the things that we're interested in. It just really is very exciting. And in Louisville, there's a huge medical community of nurses and therapists and all kinds of people who have voiced a lot of interest in coming for education.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I didn't realize I was muted.
No, it's okay. I just love your idea. If I had a place to plant a lot of plants, I would do it differently. I will do the full garden, like the full thing of Hildegard. Definitely. Yes. I mean, it's just it's beautiful. We visited once in Spain. There was a medicinal garden, but since it was very dry outside, the plants didn't look that good. So I was going plant by plant and looking it up, those that I didn't know. Those that I know, they're just, you know them, but I was just interested what's new in there. I just love plants. I don't know, I just love Hildegard. But in a hospice, maybe you can, try out and cook maybe some interesting food for the elderly to give them back energy, because they are also basically from Galanga. You can make, well, you will buy it in an Asian store. This powder out of it is very energizing for those people that are losing a lot of energy. So it's
what powder is that? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Galanga.
Oh, the ginger, yes.
Not the ginger. The ginger is a different story. It's the Galinga. It's written in the Physica, I think. I wrote it today.
Petra, I'm going to have to leave because I have another meeting, but thank you.
Thank you too, ladies. I wish you a good time.
And thank you.
So
we'll send you some photos.
And beautiful.
Yes.
And take good care of yourself.
Can you just continue telling me about because we're raising this as ginger, the galungo.
No, galanga is not ginger. Yeah, they're like in the same family nearly, but it has a different impact on your body. So when you take the book Physica, you have it?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Yeah, then find the galanga and you can read about it.
Okay.
And it's very it will be very beneficial to elderly people. Even what they do here in Europe, they make tabs or pills out of galanga, and they just take pills like that. But I do understand maybe some older people are on medical pills, so it has to be discussed with the doctor first.
Sure.
Yeah.
So can you make a tea out of it?
Yes, you can, but it's very, well, sometimes the galanga is very, very hot. Like it's much stronger than